Good day all. So what surrogates and the parents do not talk about or share. This is what I want to handle and deal with today. So first of all, most people just think money when they hear the word surrogacy or surrogate. And yes, IVF costs a lot of money. You cannot do that without having the finances to do that because it will cost you before, during, and after. But in South Africa, we do not get paid as surrogates for surrogacy. Then I want to talk about both parties, about emotions and life in general. Now, firstly, I want to say a lot of surrogates don't consider and think about everyone else but themselves in the process, and vice versa. And I think a lot of the families also and the support structures of the surrogates or the parents do not consider the person that's involved in this process within regards with their emotions and life. So I can explain to you in a tall long story that life still happens to us while we are in this process. We still have to deal with normal house stuff, home stuff, life stuff, medical stuff, other than the surrogacy and the surrogate stuff that we are dealing with. I've got a whole household to run. I've got businesses that I'm trying to keep sustained and keep them busy and do more marketing and make sure that I still have business and it continues to run. The same with some of the parents. Some of them also have businesses and they have to run it. They have to make sure that it's consistent. There's no problems. There's no hiccups. They have to sort out problems. All those things. And most also have jobs where they are employed by an employer. And they have to deal with that as well, the normal life, then the household, and then the family, death, problems in the home with, but normal problems. I'm not saying, yes, it's drastic problems, there's huge issues. I'm talking about normal life situations and phases and happenings, death, illness, all these things. It still happens to us in this process, which makes us human. And yes, we did sign up for this. We did sign up to do it, but it doesn't immobilize our emotions and our situations in life. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't stop it. It doesn't pause it. It doesn't freeze it. It still carries on. And I think a lot of people have a misconception with regards to that. And I think it's very important for people to realize and notice that life still happens to the people involved in this process. And something I have picked up with other surrogates and other parents and also in my own situations, sometimes the surrogates don't think or concern themselves about the parents or the parents about the surrogate, what they are going through emotionally with the medicine that they're taking to prepare their bodies and that they have to drink, the stress that they deal with. The same with the parents, the financial loss that they're going through and the financial responsibilities that they're going through. We don't think about that as parties, a part of this agreement that we've agreed with each other. And sometimes I think that is a very bad thing because we have to be considerate to one another. We are both parties are still human. We still have feelings. We still have emotions. We still have stuff that we're going through. And I'm going to say the aftermath after everyone goes through surrogacy for the surrogate and the parents is drastic. And a lot of people don't understand why, how, and all these things. And sometimes you have a support structure, a support system that doesn't even know how to deal with you as a surrogate or with you as a parent because they don't understand why are you going through all these emotions and why are you going through all these phases and all these changes and why are you being difficult and why are you being crying, why are you being emotional and all these things. So I think it's very important for everyone to consider one another within this process. And if you've got family or friends or someone you know that's in a surrogacy agreement, regardless whether it's the surrogate or whether it's the parents, be considerate. And even if you just listen, if you don't understand, just be there for one another. And I think also it's very important for the surrogates to be considerate towards the parents and vice versa, the parents towards the surrogate, because after a birth the surrogate's body is already in a natural flow of getting ready for a baby and all those things, and now we have to shut that down. It's not happening because we're not bringing home a baby, we're giving a baby, their baby to them, and we're carrying their baby for them, and we gave the baby back. Now we sit here at home after a C-section or a normal birth with all this medication, the whole process is over, and we have nothing to prepare for. And then sometimes we go through a slight depression due to the fact that there's a hormonal imbalance, due to the fact that our bodies are actually prepared to do this physical, mental, and emotional change to take care of a baby, and then there's no baby. Then you get the other side of it where the parents, they don't even go through that phase because they didn't receive that hormones naturally or medically to prepare them for a baby, mentally, emotionally, and physically. They can financially always be ready. They can physically be ready with all the baby goods and all the baby stuff that needs to be done. But the emotional side of it and having this whole change without your body cooperating with you can be physical and emotionally, and it can be draining and daunting. And I think really that surrogates and parents should take each other in consideration, be open-minded to each other, be there, listen to each other, support each other. Because within this journey, you have gotten to know one another. And yes, not everyone's going to opt for this option, but I think it can only do good, then do harm. I mean, I'm a mother of 3. I would have had 4. But I am not interested in having that baby. I don't want to take that baby. I opt for surrogacy so that I can help and assist another family to grow, regardless whether it's the first one, whether it's the second one, whether they're just completing it with the last one. I don't care about that aspect. I don't want that baby. I don't want to bring the baby out. I don't want to go and visit them every day. I don't want to visit them every second weekend. I don't want to visit them every month. If I get an update once a month or once every second week to say everything's going good, here's a picture, this is how the baby's looking, how are you coping? Are you still okay after the baby's born? That is more than sufficient for me to say, I'm okay, they're coping, asking them, how are they doing? Are they coping? How is parenthood treating them? And it doesn't stop there. I mean, the last baby I carried is now 15 months old. And I still ask how it's going. I still ask them, how are they doing? How is the baby doing? How are they coping with parenthood? How are they feeling? And the same vice versa. And, we've actually created such a beautiful relationship. And it means the world to both parties that we have this friendship relationship regarding the surrogacy and after the surrogacy. And it's amazing. It's really amazing. And it makes life easier for both parties, knowing that we are still there, we don't have any problems. And the thing is to make yourself open-minded for the other party, to understand them and to recognize when they are struggling and to just be there. You don't have to physically do something or pay for something. Or that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just be there and listen and have that emotion and have that interest in each other's lives, just for interest's sake, because you never know. You never know what the other person's going through. You never know what they're going through. They might have life happening to them. They might have life throwing them a bunch of curveballs, and you don't even know it. And they actually needed that one message stating that you are there, you are interested, you care, they are not alone. All those things, because we tend to feel alone in these phases, especially for the parents and the surrogates. But I think mostly the parents, a lot of the parents go through this, and that's something that I don't think a lot of surrogates consider or think about with regards to the parents that we carry for. They don't go through those emotions. They don't have that natural body preparation and the body already going into that mental change and emotional change and hormonal change to prepare for a baby and to get you ready for this. Where a mother that has her own baby, her body is already from the first day she's pregnant until the day she gives birth, it starts preparing her mentally, emotionally, and physically and medically for that baby to go into that transitional phase to take care of their baby, where parents from surrogacies, they don't have that opportunity to even be prepared in the emotional side of it. And I think it's really important for both parties to take each other in consideration and in account and think of one another and not to judge one another. And the same from the outside, the support, the people that's watching, the people that's following, the people that are part of the support structures. I really, really, really think that it's not your place to judge, because if you have not been through that process, literally and physically the whole process, it's not your place to judge anyone, regardless whether it's someone just going through IVF or whether it's someone going through surrogacy to get a child of their own or to get the family that they wish for. I really don't think it's anyone's place to judge. Listen and support. You don't have to understand what's going on or why, or that person, I can literally tell you that person probably also doesn't even know what's going on or understands what the emotions entail. And I can tell you there's a lot of times where we sit and, after my first surrogacy, for the first 2 weeks, because I was unprepared for my C-section. If I heard the word C-section, I cried like a baby. And on top of that, I had hormones that was out of whack. I was expressing milk for them, and on top of that, I was still trying to cope on my own. And now all of a sudden in 6 weeks, I can't do anything, I can't do this, I can't do that, and I can't just go on as normal like I did with my own children after a natural birth. And we were busy preparing for a natural birth. I was already 3 centimeters dilated, and then we rushed for C-section, and I was already cramping. There was already things going on, and it was just the mental preparation, the emotional side of surrogacy. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Yes, it costs a lot of money. No, the surrogate doesn't get paid. Yes, we do our research. Yes, we do have support systems in place. Yes, we do physically and try mentally to prepare for each and everything that can and cannot happen. But I know of a lot that don't even do their research and mentally try and prepare themselves for the worst outcome and the best outcome at once. But I think it's very, very important to speak to one another, be open-minded, try and understand everyone's situation, even though you cannot make sense of the decisions they make, of the things that they do. But we stay human. We stay human, and that means we still have emotions. We still have feelings, both parties, whether we're a surrogate or a parent. And I think it's very important that you understand that. Now, there's a lot of things that people don't talk about. I can talk to you a half a day with regards to everything that people do not talk about within regards to surrogacy. There's the reimbursement fees that sometimes it doesn't get met. There's surrogates that I know that only get paid 700 and something rand a month, and then that's it. They don't even get the nutritional allowance. They don't get the allowance to go and buy them maternity wear or new underwear, or to buy themselves airtime or data. There's all these things that still happen. And then there's situations where the parents do not feel comfortable, or the surrogate doesn't feel comfortable on social media, and the other does. And that can be confliction. But again, you're not, this is my opinion, and this is how I feel. You should all consider each other, and that will make the difference within any journey, regardless whether it's IVF, surrogacy, or just life. Take each other into consideration. Take each other into account when you are thinking of these things, when you are doing these things, when you are making choices upon one another, and it has a direct impact on the other person without you even actually having thought of it. But think of these things when you do surrogacy, when you do IVF, when you have someone in general life. It doesn't just have to be with surrogacy, in all aspects of life. It makes a huge difference when you're open-minded. When you're closed-minded and you only, this is my way or no other way, then there's a lot of things that can conflict you and the other people, and it's going to be a tough process, that I can guarantee. I've heard it, I've seen it, I've dealt with it, I've done some counseling on it, and I'm going to be honest with you, we just have to have basic humanity towards each other in life and in surrogacy, and that will change the whole perception, the whole journey, the whole experience, and everything to do with that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And all I want to ask is, even though you might not agree with surrogacy, whether it may be the fact that someone is caring for a gay couple, or for lesbians, or for a straight couple, or a white lady is caring for black people, or a white lady is caring for Indian people, or black lady for a white people, or black lady for Indian people, or Indian for white people, or Indian for black people, or which way ever, whether it's based on your beliefs of Christianity or not, or whether you are a Christian or not, it's not your life, it's not your opinion, it's not your judgment to give at that moment. But your basic humanity rights is to give basic humanity to the other people out there. And that would make a huge difference for anyone and everyone out there. And I think really it's very important for all of us to start exercising basic humanity towards one another. Life happens to us all, and stuff happens to us all. And sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, sometimes the sun just shines and it keeps on shining. Some of us are luckier than others, some of us are not. Some of us are more blessed, if you will. Some of us are more privileged, and some are not. And that has a thing that I want to extinguish. You cannot say just because she's not privileged, or because they are not privileged, or because he's not privileged, this is my judgment I place on him. I do not agree with it. All I'm asking is basic humanity. Try and understand each other, be human to each other, be considerate, and take each other in consideration. Whether you're doing surrogacy, whether you're doing IVF, whether you know of someone that's doing that, you do not know exactly what that person is going through unless you have physically gone through that. So it's not your place and your right to actually place your judgment or your opinions of what you think on them. Be open-minded in receiving their complaints, their experiences, the decisions they made, the stuff they have experienced during the process, the stuff they are going through emotionally, physically, and mentally. It will change everyone's life. And you will sleep better knowing that you are already here to someone today. And you just help someone to be that pack of space where they can vent and just feel a little bit better and a bit lighter today, because they could have shared what they're going through, what their emotions are, and how they're struggling, and how they have the experience of whether it's good or bad, or not even at all. It doesn't matter. It's just that basic consideration and humanity. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I really feel like everyone can gain from it. And feel free to ask me any questions. If there's any questions or any things that you guys want to know with regards to surrogacy, you are more than welcome. All that I can tell you is, in a surrogacy agreement, both parties have to agree to every single decision that is made. It's not a one-sided thing. It's a two-party. Two parties agree in a contract that is approved by High Court. And both parties have to agree to every little thing, whether it's the embryo transfer, the medication, the gynecologist, the hospital to go to, the fertility clinic, the distance to travel, this and that, and after the birth, and the room, all those things, whether they are in the operation. And everyone has to agree to go through this process. So why not consider each other during this process and after the process, and just take care of one another the best way possible by being there emotionally and physically, and just asking how you're doing. Have a lovely day.